Are you going to buy something such as Plex? Always enter code Aceface into the Creator Code tab here. This makes it so that 5% of the earnings go to me and doesn't cost you anything extra. I would appreciate it a lot. Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. I'm here in Jita. This is a place where a lot of trading goes on. I wanted to make a video about contracts in EVE Online, how they work. People have suggested to me to make a video on how contracts work, and this is a bit more further than new players. But you might have heard a lot in EVE Online that a lot of scams exist in this game and that there exists maybe contracts. A lot of the scams that exist in this game come from contracts, so I think it is a good topic to cover and it's something that is good to learn quite quickly onto the game because it can be easy to get scammed. I've only been scammed on like a very low level a couple of times through contracts, but otherwise it actually becomes quite easy to see what are scam contracts or not. But let's go first, what are contracts? So you know how you can buy and sell things in EVE Online? You've got the market here. You can sell lots of different items in the market. You can buy and sell items all over the place here. So this is one way to trade, but contracts are another way to trade, and it's more like a direct trading between players or corporations, and it can also be for public people as well. So it's like you're making your own custom trade offer, you could say. So say for example, I always do my giveaways. That is then a way I contract stuff to specific players because I don't want to put it up for sell. I wanted to give it to someone for free. So I find the person I would like to give the giveaway stuff I've got in. For example, let's say we're going to give a bit of a giveaway prize to a guy called Lilith Lunaris. We've got this Master Toms here, which we can give away. You can see this here. So we do create contract. And then there's different types of options here. So I want to do a contract specifically to this player. So then I'll do a private contract, but you can also do a public contract, and this makes it so that anyone can see this contract here and accept it. So if we go here, finance, and go contracts, you can then search for contracts, and these will find public contracts. For example, let's see if someone's selling master toms. That doesn't seem like it. But many blueprints can be found in public contracts. For example, the Gamma blueprint. Many blueprints can be found here. Public contracts. But we want to make a private one to this specific character. So I paste in the name and then we can go. So these other types of options here, we've got auction. Now this is something that I have never used, but it makes it so that you can bid on the items so that you can add an increased amount of prices depending on the different bids that exist. Courier is another type of contract type, and this makes it so that you can have like a, you could say, cargo mission for someone. So we can go over that later, but it's a way to set up sort of like a cargo contract. So you have to move, the contract involves you moving one item to a different location. But we're going to go to just an item exchange, a regular contract. This is the most common type of contract. And then you've got the assembled ships one, which is an option that makes it easier to sell single ships to different players. But the item exchange is the absolutely most common type of contract and private to specifically this person. Go next. And does not seem like this player really works. There's not a real player here. Could be that they maybe misspelled their name. Can't find anything here. Well, we're going to have to give this away to someone else, unfortunately. Give this to Trocker Onzo instead. And then this is a way to modify the contract. See, there's a lot of items here. I already had selected this and made a contract, but if I want to, I can select more items there in the inventory in the station if I wanted to add extra items to this. But we'll leave it as is. And then I'll pay 0 and I'll receive 0. So I'll pay means that for them to accept the contract, that means that they'll be getting additional ISK. And I will receive means that if they accept the contract, then they have to pay a certain amount of ISK. EST price gives you an idea of what is like the estimated value of what you're giving. But in this case, this is a giveaway, so we're having 0. Description, this is just, I could just give a bit of a name to the contract. If you want to specify it, you can say, for example, give away a winner. And then expiration, yeah. If you make this contract and they don't accept it in 2 weeks, then it'll just vanish and the items will be returned to my hangar. So this is good for the giveaways because, say, if some people don't accept it, then it'll make so that I don't have a bunch of contracts that just are sitting there doing nothing. This is good also because there's a max amount of contracts you can make. I'll get to that later, but it depends a lot on the skills. You can request certain items. If you want to say you want to trade this for that, say for example, Multispectrum, you can add some, for example, this item here. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to request anything from him. So this is a simple Master Arm Cerebral Accelerator, and there's always a little fee for making contracts, but it's nothing major here. And then just finish. So he'll be able to accept it now, and he'll be able to see a notification here, and they'll come up with the contracts that has been made to him. And you can also look in the finance tab and look in the contracts. You can look at the contracts here. They'll pop up an option if someone's made a contract to you. So we can see some people who've not accepted contracts here. A lot of people actually have not accepted contracts. That was unfortunate of them. We'll do a bigger giveaway later. But that is how you make a contract, and the most common type of one, an item exchange. So then why are contracts often in a scam scenario? Well, people can make contracts that look like they're something, but they're actually something else. For example, a common one is a skill injector. This is something that people would do a lot, is they make a public contract on a skill injector, and then they will they'll think there's a skill injector, but instead it'll actually be Mjolnir torpedo. This looks a little bit, if you like squint your eyes, it looks a little bit like a skill injector. So it has been a thing. So if we look here, I think we'll be able to find some scam contracts here. Find here. Like, look at this, you see here. They're putting it in a similar price as the skill injectors. They're trying to scam people here. These, like, you'll pay the same price as skill injector for this. Because you can set whatever price you want. It doesn't matter. You can set 1 trillion if you want. But I don't think anyone would accept that. Sometimes what people will do is also, they could perhaps put, let's say, that they would want to buy a skill injector. They request you that you want to buy it. And then they would say, perhaps, let's see if we can do here. They'll leave out a few zeros. So this will make it then that you think there's something, but it's actually not something else. You can see here if we can find want to buy. Yeah, want to buy one. Like this one here, for example. Skill injectors currently, they're about 700 million. Wait, 100 million even. But they're thinking that, okay, someone would maybe want to buy a skill injector, thinking, okay, it's a good price. It's a tiny bit cheaper than the Jita price, but they've left out a few zeros. So they will then get 800,000 ISK for selling one of their skill injectors. So that is a way they could potentially get scammed. But the way to avoid these scams is just to be paying very close attention to the fine print of all these contracts. And generally speaking, it's good though when you're new to the game and you've been never really accept contracts from people you don't really know. It's usually there's no really good reason to do it unless it's something very important trade deal for some reason. But I've never really had to accept contracts from other people in the beginning. So that's how you make item exchanges. There are many skills that can boost your contract capabilities. So if we look here, the contracting skill here, it increases the maximum amount of contracts you're able to make. You can get maximum 21. And there's advanced one, which makes so that you can get maximum 41, because you can only have 41 unique ones at the same time. However, there is an exception. There's an exception when it comes to the corporation, because you can make contracts to your corporation, and that has a bigger cap. So you can see here in these skills here, they increase that cap. So it's easier to make more contracts to a corporation. So that's how the item exchange contracts work. Then you can have the courier contracts, which are where you transport one item from another place to another. So you can use like ship to, I don't know, let's say Amar. Let's just take one random station. And then you put the reward collateral. Collateral is that they'll have a risk involved. So this means that if I put like say 1 billion is collateral, the courier, the person who carries this item, will get 1 million ISK, and they have to pay a 1 billion ISK collateral, which means that if they don't deliver this on time, or if the package, because when you make a courier contract, it puts the item in a little package. If this package is destroyed or opened, or if you die, then this collateral will be taken from them. So the person who's going to accept this mission has to hand in the collateral 1 billion ISK, and then when they hand in the mission later, then they get the collateral back. Do you understand? It's like a kind of way to sort of minimize so that people can scam people. So you always want to put a collateral that's worth a bit more than what the item is worth. So in this case, it's a silly collateral. I put 1 billion for that little item. But when you're moving, like say I'm moving an item that's worth 1 billion ISK, you maybe want to put like 1.2 billion ISK collateral, for example. So then you've got yourself covered. So if for some reason he gets ganked, or for some reason he decides to steal your item, then at least you've got a bit of like a coverage. You could say, I'll come back to you, because he won't just go and mess with you. Otherwise, say you've got a contract moving. Let's say I'm moving a skill injector. I want to move it to Amar, and the reward is 1 million ISK. He can accept that contract, and if I have 0 collateral, he can as well take it. Oh, okay, I'll take it for myself. You get 800 million ISK, and he doesn't get the reward of 1 million ISK, but he's earned a bunch of cash. So it's important to have a collateral so that people don't steal your items. Go here and there, and then people can accept it. They can look here in the contracts tab. If you go in the finance, contracts, courier, and you can search for the different items you can get. Different collateral, reward, volume. So there's people who like to do a lot of space trucking. A big item here. A lot of big items being moved. Big collaterals, you see. So this item here, we do not want to know what it is, because you don't get to know what the item is. But you see here, he's got an item, and if I were to accept it, then I'll pay 4.5 billion. And then when I hand in the mission, then I'll get 50 million ISK plus the collateral back. These can be scammy sometimes, where people will just target gank you, and then the person who has the collateral then, or owns the contract, will then get his collateral back. So that's a way to scam people as well. So that's how contracts work. It's a way to move items to other players, and you can do it to specific players, you can do it to public people, and you can also do it to your corporation. The way to do it to the corporation, I don't think I made that very clear. Same way, just go here, create a contract, and then you do my corporation. Then you go there, and then anyone can accept this the same way, instead of just specific player, my corporation, or even my alliance. So I hope you guys learned something new. That's how contracts work in EVE Online. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.